Good evening. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel. This is part 2 of the overview of the 1966 college football season. And I'll be going over week 1 of the games that were played on September 10th and September 17th. That was the full slate of games that stands out for week 1 of 1966 college football. So let's get into it as I continue on the overview of the season. Coach of the Year honors went to West Point's Tom Cahill, who was elevated from freshman coach at a very late date when Paul Dietzel bailed out for South Carolina. Yet Cahill injected a great fighting spirit in his Army charges and shaped a one-loss record of 8-2, the best at Army since 1958. Now the season ended with a gratifying 27 win over Navy. Vince Dooley began to make his presence strongly felt at Georgia, including a Cotton Bowl win over Coach Hayden Fry's Southern Methodist team, surprised as champions of the Southwest Conference. And the Mustangs had a diversified offense that counted on the Southwest Conference's first black player and wingback Jerry Levias and Mike Livingston and Mac White as interchangeable quarterbacks. Now Florida overcame losses to Georgia and Miami to rise to the Orange Bowl occasion with a 27-12 win over Georgia Tech. Gators coach Ray Graves, 14 years and assistant to Bobby Dodd at Georgia Tech, called it his sweetest victory, made possible by halfback Larry Smith's record 94-yard touchdown run. The Orange Bowl was Dodd's last game as he retired after 22 memorable seasons in Atlanta. During the summer of 1966, a pair of University of Florida professors completed research and refinement started the year before on a new product to help Gator football players replenish electrolytes, stay hydrated during extremely hot and humid weather that typically, especially in Central Florida, affected players during preseason training and early season games. So artificially flavored lime pale green fluid became known as Gatorade, in recognition of how it was designed to help the Florida Gators football team. It took surprisingly little time for Gatorade to be marketed in stores all around the country. So the brand later was bought by Stokely Van Camp, and today is marketed by a Chicago-based business simply known as the Gatorade Company. Gatorade is available in many flavors and is the world's most popular in the sports drink category. It also has come under scrutiny over the years as more useful than water. In 1991, it was reported that Gatorade and the competitors that sprung up, such as Powerade, worked best and sustained intense 60 to 90-minute workouts. So perhaps Gatorade was better suited for marathon runners than for the play-by-play sports football players for whom it was originally designed. Still, Gatorade is ingested by millions of would-be athletes, warning after tipplers of adult beverages. Many swear by its power of replenishment, whether or not Gatorade had anything to do with it. Florida quarterback Steve Spurrier won the Heisman Trophy with replenishing passing. But it was a 40-yard field goal Spurrier kicked in the waning moments of a 30-27 victory over fired up Auburn that caught the public's eye. But with less than 3 minutes to play, Spurrier and the Gators offense faced 4th down and 8 yards to go at the Tigers' 23-yard line, and Spurrier called timeout and pointed to his toe, a gesture to which Coach Graves nodded affirmatively. So after the molded square-toed shoe was hustled into the game, Spurrier calmly knotted it up and booted the game-winning three-pointer. Florida went on to victory in the Orange Bowl, and to some degree, Gatorade marketers continue to claim to this day, though through throwback TV commercials have had lots to do with it. Another highly unforgivable team in the SEC was Alabama, which finished third in the polls in quest of an unprecedented third straight national title. Thanks to the Michigan State Notre Dame deadlock and the Christian Tide's Big Sugar Bowl win, Alabama ended up as the only major unbeaten and untied team in the nation. Being all but ignored in the national title voting by both writers and coaches left Alabama bitter for years. The final AP poll, gave 41 first-place votes to Notre Dame, 8 to Michigan State, and 7 to Alabama. So, the division and first-place votes hardly spoke of the even quality among the 3 great teams. Stickers were adhered to car bumpers all over the state of Alabama, which read Notre Dame plays politics, Bama plays football. Alabama had benefited from conveniently timed glimpses on both its 1964 and 1965 records, neither of which cost the Tide a national title, In 1966, Alabama enjoyed the year's best record, maintained a winning streak that reached 17 games by year's end, crushed Nebraska by 34-7 in the Sugar Bowl, but suffered exquisitely bad timing. Crimson Tide fans could scream all they wanted for a third straight championship, but they forever were drowned out by the echoes of the game of the century. Milestones: Tulane withdrew from the Southeastern Conference to become an independent. And the longest winning streaks entering the 1966 season of college football. Dartmouth had a 10-game winning streak. East Carolina 8-game winning streak. Alabama had a 6-game winning streak. Coaching changes incoming for Army: Tom Cahill; Cornell: Jack Music; Duke: Tom Hart; Hawaii: Phil Sarbo; Iowa: Ray Nagel; Maryland: Lou Saban; North Carolina: Bill Dooley; Oklahoma: Jim McKenzie; Joe Paterno for Penn State; Dave Hart for Pittsburgh; Pete Diesel, South Carolina; Tulane: Jim Pittman; Utah: Mike Giddings; West Virginia: Jim Carlin. Now, the preseason AP poll had number 1 Alabama, number 2 Michigan State, number 3 Nebraska, number 4 UCLA, number 5 Arkansas. Next was number 6 Notre Dame, number 7 Syracuse, number 8 Purdue, number 9 Southern California, and number 10 Tennessee. Let's get into it. The season started on September 10th, 1966, where Baylor upset number 7 Syracuse 35-12. Poor pitch out to Orange Men halfback Floyd Little in early moments was recovered by Baylor defensive lineman Greg Pipes, who also contributed 18 tackles. Bears quarterback Terry Southall, who threw 4 touchdowns on 14 of 28 passing, 229 yards, was in position to throw first of his 4 touchdowns only 1:30 into the first quarter. After reliable Little, who had 102 yards rushing, scored a second quarter touchdown to counter Southall's 2 touchdowns. Syracuse had shaved a halftime deficit to 14-6. The Bears scored upset clinching touchdown in the third quarter when sub quarterback Kenny Stockdale tossed short pass out of fake field goal, which fullback Charlie Wilson lugged 29 yards to score Baylor's 5th touchdown pass of game. Now next, September 17, 1966. Now these are the games, the slate of games that stood out for the full week of week 1 of 1966 college football season. It was week 1. Now, Navy defeated Boston College 27-7 as the Middies gained control from outset as Boston College bobbled away opening kickoff. Navy defensive end Bill Dow recovered kickoff fumble, sparkled all day on defense, helped hold Eagles touted fullback Brendan McCarthy to 65 yards rushing on 14 carries. Boston College's heralded sophomore quarterback Dave Thomas threw a misguided pass that defensive back Bernie DeGeorge picked off to score first quarter Navy touchdown on 21-yard return. Quarterback John Cartwright scored touchdown after his 40-yard scamper in the second quarter and passed 18 yards to halfback Terry Murray for another in third quarter in building. Lead that grew to 27-0 in the fourth quarter. Now, Thomas, who had taken far too long to spot BC receivers through much of the game, finally came together for 97-yard aerial march in the fourth quarter. Eagles halfback Dave Bennett scored on a 2-yard flip to right corner of end zone with 9:08 to play. Penn State beat Maryland 15-7. New coaches bowed in. Penn State's former offensive coordinator Joe Paterno and Maryland's Lou Saban, fresh from triumphs with the AFL Buffalo Bills. Paterno stayed at Penn State virtually forever, while Saban continued his nomadic trip through coaching ranks that still had him with whistle around his neck well into his 80s. Terrapins, who sputtered most of the afternoon and gaining 169 yards, had halfback Ernie Terrain to open scoring with a 15-yard touchdown run, but sophomore defensive tackle Mike Reed forced first of his 2 safeties by blocking Terps punter Rich Carlson's punt through end zone in second quarter. Amazingly, Nittany Lions would score a trio of 2-pointers, including downing of quarterback Alan Pastrana in first minute of fourth quarter by Reed, defensive lineman Bob Ruckmer, quarterback Jack White, Dave's best offensive operator, who had 110 yards passing, interception pass, 9 of 17, 86 yards rushing on 19 carries and a touchdown. Scored second quarter touchdown for 8-7 lead that Lions would not surrender. Now, Lions failed to cross midfield in the middle quarters, but made big threat while trailing 13-7 with 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Terrain dashed 20 yards behind block of guard Tom Gunderman to Penn State 8-yard line, but sub quarterback Phil Petrie through incomplete over middle fourth down from Lions 1 yard line. Florida beat Northwestern by a score of 43-7. Louisiana State beat South Carolina by a score of 28-12. As luck would have it, new South Carolina coach Paul Dietzel's first game took place at LSU, where he had bitter departure for West Point in 1962. The highest quarterback Nelson Stokely directed 80 and 74 yards. First half touchdown marches. Sophomore linebacker George Bevan blocked and recovered third quarter punt for a touchdown. Gamecocks made it interesting for a while, drawing within 7-6 while using uncharacteristic shotgun formation. Later, quarterback Bobby Bryant returned punt 77 yards for touchdown. Houston beat Florida State by a score of 21-13. Typical opener was reset by penalties and turnovers, but Florida State held upper hand for much of the game and nearly upset highly titled Cougars. After Seminoles halfback Bill Borman returned opening kickoff all of 1 yard to his 9-yard line, FSU snapped off 10 plays to pay dirt. His quarterback Tim Hammond hit sophomore wide receiver Warren Sellers with 43 and 13-yard passes before clicking with fullback Jim Mankins for 8-yard score. Florida State defense played surprisingly well with 2 sacks, 4 incompletions, and all in a row. But when FSU kicker Pete Roberts missed a 27-yard field goal, Houston quarterback Bo Burris got his act together because Burris hit halfback Warren McVay alone at midfield and Speedster zoomed 80 yards to touchdown. Future Major League Baseball player Cook was defensive back Tom Casillo made interception return to Seminoles' 34-yard line to set up 14-7 lead that held until halftime as Burris rifle touchdown pass to end Ken Hebert to up margin to 21-13. Number 2, Michigan State defeated North Carolina State 28-10. The stubborn, unheralded Wolfpack defense stuffed Spartans short passes and surprisingly led 3-0 kicker Harold Dieters scoring 49-yard field goal in the second quarter. But the Michigan State Spartans halfback Clinton Jones escaped 4 tacklers to race 39 yards to touchdown. Spartans fullback Bob Apisa broke open game by capping an 80-yard drive in third quarter with a 37-yard run pitch out from quarterback Jimmy Ray. So Spartans were on their way. Missouri shut out Minnesota 24-0. Texas Tech beat Kansas 23-7. Number 9, Southern California beat Texas 10-6 with former Trojans player turned movie star icon John Wayne looking on in 9-gallon hat. USC dominated first half as quarterback Troy Winslow outplayed Valley View Texas sophomore quarterback Bill Bradley. Longhorns coach Darrell Roy said later about Southern California hogging ball for all but 15 plays the first half. We don't perform much on 15 plays, but he spent most of the afternoon with me on the sidelines. So Winslow passed 11 for 22, put 10 points on the board in the 4:46 span. Defensive end kicker Tim Rosevich kicked 23-yard field goal, and Winslow scored a 9-yard run. In the second half, Bradley provoked some damage against USC, leading 2 long drives. Steele's first march ended, and Bradley advised pitch out that became lost fumble at USC 11-yard line. But Texas' next voyage went 91 yards to Bradley 3-yard touchdown sweep. So with 8:20 left to go, punter Bradley punted smartly to the Trojans' 2-yard line, but Southern California mildly held possession and never let go. And finally, Wyoming defeated Air Force 13-0. Falcons mounted 3 serious scoring bids that were turned aside by harsh Cowboys defense, which is keyed by dangerous defensive linemen Ron Pedro Billingsley and Mike LaHood. Wyoming quarterback Rick Egloff threw 2 touchdown passes, 33 yards to wingback Hub Lindsey and 14 yards to halfback turned wide receiver Jerry Marion. Victory got Wyoming rolling toward its first conference championship since Coach Bob Devaney rolled off 4 in a row in his last years in Laramie in 1958 to 1961. So that concludes a look at Week 1. The games played on September 10th, 1966 and September 17th, 1966. So let's look at the AP poll as of September 19th. Michigan State was number 1, followed by number 2 UCLA, number 3 Alabama, number 4 Nebraska, number 5 Southern California, number 6 Arkansas, number 7 Purdue, number 8 Notre Dame, number 9 Michigan, number 10, Baylor. So that concludes a look at the games that were played during this 1966 season for as week 1 is concerned. Games that were played on September 10th, September 17th, 1966. I'll do a video of this mag tune maybe tomorrow. I'll do one real soon, but see what happens. But you can like and comment and subscribe to the channel. Until then, talk to you soon.